All right, welcome to 6G Agenda. Welcome back. Thanks for coming back. Hopefully, you guys been enjoying everything. We had a nice chill pod last time. We got into some deep shit, but we kept it a little light. Tried to.
It was some fun.
Hopefully, you enjoy. Yeah. Other than that, thanks for all the love. We're getting plenty of comments and likes and everything. OG T-Tel, she's been hitting us with a few, aka Let It Go Backwards. Yeah, we missed you on the last one with your comment for the Babylon Workings episode. But yeah, totally agree. AI has been the antichrist. That's kind of what I was alluding to with Ben was it's probably not a person per se, but he's got a pretty literal biblical, I can't knock that. That's fine. But yeah, I agree with that. But yeah, and there's probably been a few already, especially if you look at Nostradamus's predictions. I mean, he predicted a few antichrists, and I don't think he was wrong. So I mean, yeah, I agree with you there too. We'll probably be getting into a little theory I have today that has to do with that as well. So remind me if I don't get to it. But yeah, thank you for your love there. And Jenna the Alchemist, we'll be hitting you with that killing of the king's ritual in this episode as well. So you've been heard. So yeah, we'll probably start off because we're gonna be getting to a lot of stuff here. I'm gonna try to break everything down, unpack some shit. So James Shelby Downard, I think, is where we'll start. And that's going to kind of oddly, because this is supposed to be a little bit of a segue into a series we're going to start coming up after this. We're going to be calling it GESPR, GESPR. It's going to be the little series we're doing here soon. But yeah, so this will lead right into it. But yeah, James Shelby Downard, we got a nice little picture there of him. He was one of the first conspiracy theorists, the Godfathers, if you will. Our man Bill Cooper, he got a lot of info from him, especially about the killing of the king ritual, which is what we're mainly going to focus on with him. If you want to hear more about other things, we can. He's a little bit hard to read. It's a lot to decipher. So just so you know, so it's a lot to unpack with him. So we're not going to get super deep in the weeds with it. Known for occult symbolism, twilight language, and synchronicity within major historical events. So yeah, this guy gets deep and it's hard, to follow sometimes. But he's called some stuff and even predicted, I would say, what's going on now in a way. But his most famous essay posits that the assassination of JFK was a ritual killing of the king orchestrated by Freemasons. Laden with symbolic intent, it first appeared in apocalyptic culture and in Secret and Suppressed. I guess these are other essays he wrote, but either way, he's best known for the killing of the king ritual. Yeah, really big on the reality bending conspiracy line of things. We're going to break down the killing of the kings. And then, like I said, if you want to hear more about him, we will. But yeah, just the killing of the kings itself is a lot. So let me get to that real quick. What was the killing of the king ritual? Obviously, it was a public spectacle. If you go back to our Laurel Canyon episode, we know that there was a lot of mind control going on. There was a lot of MK Ultra shit. We know it was a mass trauma event, a new coming of age kind of ritual kind of shit going on then. The moon child kind of, I mean, that came 20 years after they actually did the Babylon workings, but you had the actual going to the moon around this time. So that's weird because this was brought about by whatever. Either way. So yeah, there's some weird shit with that, but destroying the king archetype, shifting an age or an era, which definitely did that. And it psychologically scars the masses, which is kind of what we just got into. Complete ritual and offering of the hidden brought to light is kind of which we'll get into later, which is something that he talks about. I've got schizophrenic notes, just so you guys know. So it's gonna be, and like I said, I mean, the way that this guy like talked with the symbols and everything else, there's no other way to take notes, dude. Like if somebody looked at these notes, they would send me to the hospital. You know what I'm saying? Like not like a crazy hospital for sure. Just because they would be like, what the hell? It's sporadic. But either way, the Kennedy assassination was the Kennedy assassination was not merely a killing, it was an open air alchemical working. And that's something Downard is quoted as saying. So this happened on the 33rd degree parallel. Dallas, Roswell, Hiroshima, all these happened on the 33rd parallel of the latitude longitude scale. So he even gets into like the actual placement of an event and how that plays into it symbolically. This guy gets deep. The masses are obviously the witnesses. Unknowing initiates are involved while they do a mass ritual trauma, which is kind of a classic Masonic thing that's done. This was done in front of one of the first Freemason temples that was opened up in Dallas. That's where he was shot. So that's a little weird too. In the Dealey Plaza. It was also taken down afterwards. So yeah, it's weird that they didn't keep it there. But whatever. So Kennedy in Gaelic means wounded head, apparently. Now, you should look this up because this is one of those things that like I didn't verify after reading. So I read it and I was like, oh, really? But I should have at least checked. I'm pretty sure that's true though. This guy was pretty deep on this stuff, but according to Downard, every detail of JFK's murder was ritual theater with Masonic and occult layers. So there's a triple goddess Trinity crossroad aspect to his killing, which is really symbolic when we know about the three moons, which we talked about: Hecate, Artemis, and Selene. And so Hecate would be the waning moon, or the kind of when it's crossing over and dying. This is the same symbology you'll find with the Trinity for the sun in pagan culture, which is the born sun, the noon or middle-aged man, and then the dying man, or the sun. So whenever it's evening time, sunset. So this is all weird pagan shit that they're related to. Hopefully my listeners by now know that we get into symbol. I mean, if you aren't into symbolism, it's kind of hard to enjoy, but we'll get there to where this all makes sense. So like I said, it was situated near the 33rd degree latitude, which is a big deal because 33 degrees in Freemasonry, 33 vertebrae in your spine, all this stuff that is symbolic. Jesus died at 33. There's a lot of stuff with that. So I guess Hiram Abiff, which is the Freemasonic building of the temple leader, he was like the first Freemason, a symbolic king figure, was murdered by 3 ruffians, which is why the 3 echoes of importance. And that's also, he argues that there was 3 murderers. It wasn't Oswald alone. It was 3 people, because there was 3 murderers whenever the king was killed with that. Oswald is the patsy or Judas. Dallas killing was a public reenactment. It was kind of like a theatrical reenactment drama of of something that's been put into books many times, whether it's about Jesus or whether it's about Hiram Abiff. People get killed and sacrificed, and yeah, this was done again. But the true orchestrators, the invisible initiates, performing a mega ritual in order to gain from the traumatic collective mind and embed symbols of control, so they could then signal to a new hidden priesthood. And yeah, Kennedy was the last vestige of sacred kingship, which would be, I guess, maybe the old guard or whatever because don't get me wrong, Kennedy was, he was all right. He had some good policies, but at the same time, apparently his family was cursed because they did blood ritual sacrifice, which is according to Downard. And so that's the reason why he was cursed, according to him. So either way, what we're getting at is traumatic event done by Freemasons, 33rd degree parallel. Coffin, I believe he had a family relation of Coffin, which was significant because of the skull and bones initiation, with the coffin, and you go in there. This is real deep if you don't know about all this. So I'm trying to keep it as digestible as possible. So George H.W. Bush, he was his skull and bones. Apparently, he did an initiation ceremony where he tied a string around his ball sack and they closed the coffin door and he laid in the coffin and they pulled on the string and, some kind of weird ritual where he's born and, dead and born again. And that's why H.W. Bush, whenever you ask him or whenever somebody asked him if he believes in God and everything, he said, if you're asking if I've been born again, the answer is yes. Well, that's just symbols for being in this club. So the dead rise again, 30, the mystery schools kind of, get into that. So the stone wall, which is important for Israel, is represented as a vow of silence. And all of our presidents go there and touch the wall in Israel. So I just want to throw that out there because this is something he mentioned. And hey, man, I think that's got some legs. He also talked about how Oswald is a divine strength, a name for divine strength. Oz, as in the Wizard of Oz, and that Ruby, Jack Ruby, would be the like ruby slippers for the symbolic for the what's that movie called? How am I blanking on that? What's it called, dude? Well, Wizard of Oz, man. What the hell's wrong with me? Did you just
Dang, dude. I blanked on it too.
Yeah, that's crazy. Anyways, I don't know 100% with the Wizard. I mean, the Yellow Brick Road and then the guy behind the curtain. I don't know what it all has to do with his death, to be honest. This guy was a wild boy. So we're gonna, like I said, keep it to the killing of the king ritual. So I'm not trying to get into all this other stuff. So during this time, we also had the destruction of primordial matter a little bit before this, which is the idea that that we talked about with nuclear whatever. So they believe that they were bringing in new age because they were able to achieve that. And then now they need to do a ritual of the killing of the king. And so they did that with him. And then they went to the moon, and all this stuff at this time. So the idea was that to bring in this new age of this technocracy that we always talk about, back then they were doing these things. That's kind of all I'm trying to say. And that's kind of what he was saying back then. So final kicking head around 9/11. Okay, so here's my schizophrenic notes. I'm just trying to find so all right, I found it on my crazy notes. So as people recognize they're being duped, they will look to be made less aware. They will look to a new leader through apathy for after apathy. Then they'll realize that they've been duped and then they'll look for a new leader. And then when they look for a new leader, it'll be radical. That's kind of like what you see in New York right now with a socialist. They're bringing in a socialist mayor. I mean, with Trump, even is kind of a radical choice, I would argue. People are getting desperate, is what I'm trying to say. We're at a point now where that's very apparent, right?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the idea. And that's why right now, while people are very desperate, they're also, what are they doing? They're telling us about things they're doing, right? So in the last administration, for example, you had the disclosure of QAnon, which was really them telling you the truth while also lying to you. They told you about the pedophile ring. They told you about the elites and what they do to an extent. Then they mixed it up with lies and then a bunch of other shit. But here's the problem. That opened up a lot of people's eyes to a lot of the issues going on, right? Now, fast forward to now, they're taking all that disclosure and then they're kind of just turning around and shoveling it down. We'll get into the Epstein and Diddy stuff in a minute, but that's just kind of what I'm alluding to.
Mm.
So people are realizing that they've been duped before. They think Trump's the savior. Then what? Now they're being duped again, right? So now people, what I'm arguing is people are going to become even more radical. You see where I'm going?
Yeah.
So people are going to look for like a socialist mayor or something worse, like, as president. And then you're going to have these things in place that Trump's putting in place now from the big, beautiful bill, which is these detainment camps and the Golden Dome that he may put up and all this Palantir that's going to be ran by the next person
Yeah.
that's controlled by the government, right? So my point is what he's doing, he's going to hand over to these even more radical people, and they're going to lead us to a dictatorship eventually, technocratic dictatorship, socialist totalitarian dictatorship, which is what Bill Cooper used to say. That's very likely, bro, especially when you see New York now picking a socialist mayor. I never thought socialist would be the way we go, but it will be because everybody's broke, right? And everybody's like, man, all the rich have everything, all the poor have nothing. That's the idea that leads to Marxism, which eventually leads to socialist, which eventually leads to a dictatorship.
Yeah.
That's all I'm trying to say. So what he argues is awareness is key. And that's why you got to get through the being duped part. Don't become apathetic. And the repetition of information, like what we do, right? Where we repeat all this information. We're always jamming on this shit, right? We're always hitting it hard about the technocratic state and all this stuff. We're desensitized to the information to the point where we're not demotivated from doing something about it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But when people first hear about it, they become apathetic and they don't want to do anything. But if you keep going and you keep listening, eventually you're going to be like, I don't even give a fuck about how crazy and scary it is. It's got to be stopped, right? Like that's kind of the idea.
Yeah.
And I agree with that. And that's kind of what I was trying to get to. So the killing of the king ritual, definitely, 1122, that's 33, Freemasonic right there. You got the 33rd parallel. You got the 3 murders, which, apparently, nobody believes the magic bullet. We're not going to get deep into the JFK assassination conspiracy. Everybody's done 20 of them. But the magic bullet, you got the the lady, the driver turning around and looking at him and shooting him and all this other shit. Listen, all I'm saying, I think this guy was more right than anybody because it's all symbolism. And that's what they live by. So, step 1, destruction of matter. That's what I pointed out earlier with the nuclear shit. Step 2, kill the king, right? Step 3, this is the important part. That's what's happening now. Make manifest all that is hidden, right? That's what they're doing. They're making manifest all that is hidden through what they've done. They've destroyed primordial matter, their literal atom. They blew it up, split it in half.
Yeah.
That's God's work in their eyes. Then they killed, killing the king ritual. Then, now look at it. This is the disclosure. This is the part where they make all that is hidden manifest. And I do believe that that's the time we're living in now, which isn't long after. If you look at the separation of time from then, it's about 25 years. And then I guess we're looking at double the time away. But either way, whatever. Well, then you look at 9/11, right? And that was something else I was going to get to. So this is why I was saying, let it go backwards. The Antichrist part that you were talking about. So if you look at the 2 pillars of Freemasonry, right? The 2 towers. 9/11. Okay, now this is going to get deep, everybody. I'm sure you've maybe seen it. Look up a picture right now. Say Saturn sigil, and then go 9/11, and then go to images. This will be easier to comprehend if we have a picture in front of us that shows what I'm talking about. Okay. Wow. Okay. What the? Why? Why is it that every time? Why? Whenever I ask you to, okay, go to the first one. That'll do.
This guy?
I'm going to have to make this work. Yeah. Go to that one. Okay. Go up to the right. You see that on the top right, the picture there? There's 2 pillars. Okay. Go down. Sorry, everybody. Okay. To the left, there's a black photo. It says 9/11 X.
That guy?
Click on that. Yep. Click on it. Okay. Great visual. So in the middle, you see the Freemasonic symbol. Okay. The Freemasonic symbol is a derivative of the Star of David, which is the derivative of the Star of Remphan. Okay. We're following. In between the 2 pillars is that symbol on top of a checkerboard floored, which is white and black, the idea of good and evil, yada, yada. Okay. Symbolism is how they work, everybody. Now, look in the middle there. You see that there's an I, an X, which is 9 in Roman numerals. And then you see there's an X and an I afterwards, which is an 11. I know this is self-explanatory, but I'm going to explain it for anybody listening. So IXXI is the Saturn sigil in between two pillars, aka two eyes, right? What I'm trying to point out is in this, Saturn is in between the balance of good and evil. That is kind of what that represents. Okay. So the two pillars represent the sun and the moon, the masculine and feminine, the idea of balance. Okay. It's all going to make sense right now. When they brought down the towers, the balance was then destroyed, and Saturn, the idea of this death and primordial kind of energy, was then released. Does this all make sense?
Mm.
So what I'm arguing is 9/11, whenever that happened, which has the Saturn sigil inside of the pillars all wrapped up in it. When that happened, that let out this force, Satan, whatever you want to call it. Hence what I'm trying to point out with the Antichrist thing that Let It Go pointed out. There you go, right? Because now we look who's bringing in the technocratic state. The Patriot Act allowed for a lot of things to be brought in, which was done from 9/11, aka this release. Now, the 9/11 president, aka Trump, 45, 4+5, and 47. He's the 9/11 president, right? And what's he bringing in? He's bringing in a technocratic state. That's all I'm trying to point out. He's bringing in the beast system. So thank you. Let it go backwards. I'm going to break it down for everybody else of what you're talking about. I believe that maybe I'm hitting on what you may have been talking about. I think that I've just elaborated a little bit with that because I do think that that led to this. And now here we are where we're starting to create this beast system and actually let it go. And I think it was done by these series of mass traumas that led us where we are now. It started with the nuclear nuke being created, destruction of matter, killing of the king. And then you have, of course, this all manifest, everything hidden becoming manifest. And here we are. That's what I'm trying to point out. Whoa, dude, isn't that nuts?
Yeah, man.
It's a lot. I'm sorry to lay all that on you guys.
Dude, it could have been anybody, and it's Trump and everything around this whole occult shit with Trump. It's fucking wild. Because, dude, 2 months ago, I didn't know shit about this. And now that I'm like, we're analyzing all this shit, I'm like,
we're deep.
what?
Yeah, we're deep.
Yeah, dude.
Sometimes, yeah. See, and Justin's a quiet, chill guy, so sometimes even if the listener's wondering, just know, even I wonder sometimes, like, damn, does he think Andrew's crazy? Because sometimes I'll be like, because he'll be quiet, just kind of taking it all in. But no, I think he's with us and he understands this shit is real, dude. It's just,
yeah, no, I'm here.
It's just, it's written in a different language, But then you start looking at it and it starts making a lot of sense. But I also want to touch on, while we're on the James Shelby Downard topic, this is how it leads into what we're going to be talking about, which is the Hellfire Club. The Hellfire Club is something that Benjamin Franklin was a part of, one of our Freemasonic founding fathers. And let me find my notes real quick. The Hellfire Club. Yeah, so here's the deal with that. So he knew a guy, and by he, I mean Benjamin Franklin. Okay, we're in it. Francis Dashwood. There you go. You got it pulled up. You could look. He had something called the Hellfire Club. It was located in Abbey, England, 1749 to 60s. The nickname was Monks of Medmenham Abbey. And essentially, Francis Dashwood, John Wilkes, and Benjamin Franklin, and also the Prince of Wales were guests, let's call them. Now, here's where it gets interesting and what I'm kind of getting at. The rituals that they practiced were pagan and mock Catholic ceremonies, black masses, and orgies, alleged occult initiation rites inside of caves, namely the West Wycombe Cave. And there was symbolism including Saturnalian, Baphometic, and Dionysian influences. Now, what I'm trying to point out is that there is a connection with Judaic mysticism, Saturnalian worship, Baphometic worship, which we've talked about ad nauseum, and the important one, the Dionysian mysteries or influence, right? And so what I'm arguing with that was pretty much, or at the core of what I'm trying to say is they believe hell is like a big party, right? Sex, drugs, rock and roll, right? That's kind of where that came from, right? It's like that's propaganda, by the way. That's like Bolshevik propaganda. Sex, drugs, rock and roll. Think about that. We've talked about Bolshevik propaganda. That's exactly what that is.
All the
Okay, so
cool
anyway,
shit.
so they believe that it's a party in hell and that they're just going to go down there and party. So that's why they don't care about like, that's why they have this like war with God or whatever. That's just their concept of what hell is. Okay. And so the Dionysian mysteries or influences that I'm talking about is um Dionysius, people that celebrated like rituals tied to him. It was always like drunken wine rituals with orgies and sex parties and everything else. So it was very much Baphometic, same kind of thing. So what I'm pointing out is that like it's kind of the same, but different. And what happened? This is why I'm going into this. What happened at the French opening ceremony? There was a blue god. Look it up. French opening ceremony, blue guy. There was a blue god with golden hair, or at least he was supposed to be a god, and that was Dionysus. And this happened, Olympics, sorry. And this happened where they did the whole Last Supper bullshit. I'm sure everybody remembers. But the guy, that's what I'm trying to point out. The guy, that's Dionysus. That's Dionysus, right? That's who that is. And then you have the mocking of Christ. And then I'm trying to point out right now that Dionysus, Baphomet, Saturn, alien worship, all this shit's the same, right? So therefore, we watched a satanic ritual right in front of our eyes for the Olympics. That's what I'm trying to point out. It was toned down a lot. Go ahead.
Is this girl back here retarded? Or do you know?
I would say most people in that room right there are definitely retarded.
Okay.
This anyway, it's crazy. It's definitely representation of the last summer. You got the Dionysus guy. I mean, that's 100% what they were doing. It was whatever. Look at it how you would, but I just pointed out symbolism of this cult is Saturn, Baphomet, and Dionysus.
But he said
people that like to argue that did he?
Look.
Well, people like to argue that Baphomet is just like it's just the masculine and feminine brought together. It's a representation of your brain or your mind and your intellect and all this. And I'm like, yo, okay, call it what you want. Why is it always tied to Saturnalian shit?
Yeah.
Oh, well, whatever. I mean, at the end of the day, I like how they always tie it to this inner working. That's not what it is. That's just how they co-opt it. Remember, the devil's deceptive, I mean, so anyway, okay. Esoteric and occult connections with this is use of ritual sex magic invoking pagan gods, which we talked about. Strong parallels with Freemasonry and later influence on Crowley's Ordo Templi Orientis. Aleister Crowley, we've talked a lot about, created his own little system. It was based on, and in part, the Hellfire Club, as well as the Golden Dawn. It's tied to Saturnalian and Luciferian motifs, which is why I just kind of went into with elite esoteric circles. And that's kind of what this is all going to segue into what we're going to talk about, which is the next few episodes. It's going to be, yeah. I'm trying to give you a lot of context here because whenever we're like 4 episodes deep into talking about global satanic pedophile ring, that's the only time I'm going to say it out loud. A global elite GESPR, right? So that's what we're going to be talking about. We got the Finders cult, Order of the Nine Angles. We got all that shit. So that we're going to have to get into. And I just feel like once we're 4 episodes, a few episodes down the road, it's just good to lay this context because people are going to think like, what the hell? Why are we so deep into this topic?
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, it permeates everything. That's kind of what I'm trying to point out. But anyway, it's seen as a predecessor to the modern elite occult fraternities. possibly even Bohemian Grove. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay. So theories are that that they want to kind of get rid of Christianity. They hate Catholicism. They have a all outright just despise it, right? So does Freemasonry. They all hate it. What they think is that the Catholicism and Christianity have taken the mysteries and perverted them and used them for power and control. And that actually, and don't get me wrong, they have. We've talked about the two Babylons. They have. But what I argue is that they aren't leading you much better place either, because they've been co-opted by the, let's call it like dark cabal, right?
The
Because
dark
I don't want to give it,
cabal.
I don't want to give it a label, because there's so many labels it already has. We'll call it the dark cabal. It's not, I won't call it the banking cabal, the Jewish cabal, the mystic cabal. There's so many. The dark cabal, the Illuminati. No, the dark cabal. They call themselves the Illuminati because they practice inversion. They're really the dark cabal. Anyway, sorry, we're having fun tonight. This might be a chill pod / extended chill pod, because we haven't even gotten into Epstein and everything else. We got to talk about that. It's going to be fun, but that's also going to lead into this too. So it'll be great. So yeah, the do what thou wilt ethos, paired with the mockery of Christian rights, is that's where that started. Which now we see right in front of us, right? And so it's clearly mainstream, out in the open, to the point where they're doing it at the Olympic ceremony. That's a global ceremony.
Yeah.
Just saying, dude. It can't get any more fucking in your face than that.
I tell you what, when that actually happened in the Olympics, I never saw it. I never looked into it because I didn't want to see. All I did was, when I read all the shit on social medias and online, and I was hearing people talk about it, but I never actually saw it. So seeing that just now was like alarming,
Yeah.
to say the least.
Yes. And so also, let me point out to your point. We just went over the fact that the more you talk about a thing, the more people get desensitized to it, right? And the more people, like in our case, will talk about it more so they could tell other people and like try to get them informed. But think about it on the other way, right? They understand that law of like consciousness. So
Yeah.
they put it in your face so much, you don't even want to see it. You don't even want to see the Olympic ceremony. You've heard so much about how stupid and bad it was that you don't even want to see it with your own eyes. Now,
Yeah.
that right there is crazy. They could do it either way. So anyway,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, dude, that's fucking genius. I mean, not
Yeah.
even genius. It's diabolical.
They get motherfuckers no matter what.
Oh yeah, either way.
Yeah.
That's why I mean by two Babylons.
Right.
It doesn't matter which way you turn, you're probably looking down the fucking abyss.
Yeah, two of them
So
things.
yeah. So there's suspected activities, bloodletting, invocation of Pan. Has anybody ever wondered why there's a goat tied to Satan in all the iconography? Well, that's because Pan, the god from, Greek gods, he was the goat god linked to Satan or Saturn or the goat of Mendes, right? So this is kind of what we're talking about. The upside down pentagram would be the goat of Mendes. Look up the goat of Mendes so everybody can see, because we just saw it whenever we are looking at the Saturn stuff, just so I can let everybody see what we're talking about. So there was Mithraic mysteries, which are important because the Mithraism shit is very apparent today with Trump. Look at that. Baphomet, go to Mendez.
Why'd they
And then
throw
that
him in
ties to
there?
Pan. And then they want to tell you that, oh no, it's just all about the balance of your masculine and feminine in your soul. It's like, dude, stop. You can't even pull this up without all the other shit with it.
Hey, you want to see some wild shit?
So anyway, what? Go ahead, gang.
Apologies to any dubstep fans if we even have any in here.
Oh, so there's an artist that uses this iconography, and of course. Yeah. I've seen somebody else uses that. I think it's like the Pope or some shit, like the Pope from the fucking death metal band or some shit, where they always have like a black Pope and they have a new black Pope every time there's like a new Pope or some shit, or periodically. Do you not know what I'm talking about? There's like a
No.
Swedish death metal band. Okay, whatever. Who cares? We're off
Oh
topic.
yeah, if it's a Swedish death metal band, I don't know.
They're psychos, dude. They just look psychos. So yeah, what was I getting to? Yeah, so pretty much that is the Hellfire Club. And the Hellfire Club kind of lays the foundation for a lot of the ways that, let's say, Freemasonry and other cults kind of influence secret societies and everything as they move forward. And so now we look at it full blown global scale at this point. So yeah, that's where we're at.
Yeah.
So let's talk about. So, okay, there you go. Killing of the King. I hope I gave you a little bit of what you wanted. I know I kind of skimmed past some of it. I mean, like I said, I have schizophrenic notes. Let's make sure I didn't miss anything. So we got yep. You know the Avis company, the Avis, car rental company. Backwards is Siva or Shiva, like that god, the destroyer god.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, that's cool. He said that. Oh,
Damn.
this is important. This is something that he says that I do not want to skip over because I kind of talk about this a lot. And I want you to understand where my head's at. Masonry and Jewish Kabbalism has a slave master relationship. Okay. Just remember that. And who do you think the slave is? I'll tell you what, it's not the Jewish cabal. Yeah. I'll tell you that right now, dude. It's not. Yeah. It's not. So anyway, that is some deep shit. Because when I saw that, I was like, totally, dude. Because whenever you look in this Secret Teachings of All Ages book, I've recommended everybody, there's a huge, dense chapter on Kabbalism. And they say it's the key to like Masonry. So that proves it. I mean, from the horse's mouth. Yeah. So anyway. So, all right. Yeah. So there's some of that global satanic pedophile ring shit that we're going to be getting into, mixed with the killing of the king ritual. James Shelby Downard, what a badass. We can get more into our conspiracy godfathers and by proxy, deeper into what he talked about later. I do want to get to what we planned on talking about tonight. But Jenna the Alchemist, hope you enjoyed. Okay, so Epstein fucking, I just can't believe that I thought that he, had clients that he was procuring kids for. How crazy am I for thinking that there was documents and clients and
silly
lists? Dude, I'm a silly boy. But it's weird because I could have swore I remember Pam Bondi saying it was on her desk.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Client list on her desk. I'm almost positive I heard her say that. See if you can find a video of that. I know for a fact you can. Because that bitch definitely said it, dude. What the hell?
What's that bitch name?
So it's cool, it's cool, man. We're going to get deep into it. So the client list on my desk, Pam Bondi. Now, while you do that, did anybody see the 11-hour video that was outside of his cell?
Look at this.
Yeah, we'll get into this first. Client list is on my desk. Mute it. We don't do ads on this show.
We fucking don't.
We don't do ads on this show. You guys love it, don't you? And, give us some love on Venmo, man. We got a little Venmo. Go into the description. You can hit up our Gmail if you got questions. Hit that up. Okay.
As well. That's what I meant.
All right, let's do this.
In February, I did an interview on Fox, and it's been getting a lot of attention.
Nope. This isn't it. Get out of here. You got to look at the videos first. All right, go back. Because no, look at the timestamp. Look, their memory. Hold on, pause. They're memory holing this. This was months ago. She said this. That's what I'm trying to say. They're trying to memory hole it because she's over here like, no, this is actually what I said. Go down here to 21-second video on Facebook. That's the one. I guarantee you, Facebook always comes through. Social media seems to always keep the real footage. Oh, God, it's Newsweek. They're going to be lying, dude. What really happened?
Good grief.
Oh, yeah, go back. Damn it.
What happened?
Dude, she was saying it. He said, so you have the client list on your desk? Are we going to see it? Is that really going to happen? Okay. And she said, I have it on my desk right now.
By President Trump, I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing JFK
files. Can you back it up?
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review.
There it is.
That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing JFK files, MLK files. That's all in the process of being reviewed because that was done at the directive of the president from all of these agencies.
All right.
The deal.
Yeah. All I'm saying is she should have said, I have the files on my desk, not like she could have clarified there. If she's going to argue that she wasn't saying she had the list, but she did have the files. Okay. But the files don't indicate anybody. So wait a minute. So what is Ghislaine in jail for then? Is she not in jail for like procuring children for elites? I'm confused because for a while we were saying that was 100%. I mean, I don't even know where to start on this. So you have the witnesses, aka victims, who Kash Patel says he doesn't want to re-victimize the victims, right?
Mhm.
If you remember, right around the time Trump took office, a little after, that victim died. Remember? And people were like, oh, she committed suicide. Okay, that victim was pretty adamant about speaking out against what happened.
Yeah.
And she tried to, and she couldn't, right? I don't think these victims don't want to talk about it or don't want to get it out there. You know what I'm saying? So that's just a weird thing that they threw out there. Like, I'm not going to re-victimize anybody. Well, no, I'm pretty sure they just want to tell everybody what's going on. But every victim that has talked about it says that they were procured for other people like Prince Andrew or Charles or whichever one. And other people like that, right? So that's kind of what we're saying, dude. It's been too long that they've built this narrative about all these elite guys connected to him being, Lex Wessner giving him a house, making him the power of attorney. We've talked about the mega group. You remember the Epstein and Diddy episode? We're going to kind of recap that in a way in this as we go through this because it's important. So the mega group by Meyer Lansky, we've talked about. One Nation Under Blackmail by Whitney Webb. I highly recommend the book. She explains it all. But essentially, nutshell, Jewish crime syndicate, intelligence agency, all kind of work together. There's something called the mega group that started with mega corporate kind of owners, just big money guys, right? And so they all work together and they're all kind of rubbing shoulders and doing some dirty shit. And they're all doing it under the guise of the mob or the CIA or the whatever, right? And it's not who it is. And that's kind of what we see today where they hide behind the curtain. And so what happens is essentially, where was I at with that? Yeah. So they run a spying situation, right? And so Maxwell, who's Ghislaine Maxwell's dad, Robert Maxwell, he dies off getting thrown off a boat. Apparently he just fell off. Obviously he was probably thrown off. But this guy was literally known for he had just bugged like some politician or king or some shit. Like he was bugging how he was a spy for the Mossad, right? Like you bug people's houses and do shit like that, right? So that's the kind of people we're dealing with. Now, the blackmailing of people to kind of control them is just a known thing that the Mossad does. Go back to Bill Clinton. It's a rumor, allegedly, but Netanyahu did threaten Bill Clinton with the Lewinsky tapes whenever he talked about being friends with Iran because Israel didn't fuck with Iran. Go figure. And so you're going to have to put all that in if you're going to look it up there. Because it'll tell you no otherwise. Like the specifically the Iran situation. But us trying to be friends with him and Bill Clinton. But anyway, so outside of that, Bill Clinton was president. And what I'm getting at is Epstein was in the White House like 20 times. Okay. And there's a guy named Michael something, I will get to it, who died. So there's a guy, Mark Middleton. I apologize. I said Michael. Mark Middleton was a key Clinton aide who worked with the White House chiefs of staff in his office and had links to major Democratic donors and fundraisers. He was known to let Jeffrey Epstein come into the White House at least 7 times between 1993 and 1995. Now, my point is, Jeffrey Epstein had a lot of blackmail on Bill Clinton. Jeffrey Epstein was a part of this mega group, or AKA this, Mossad ran intelligence kind of spy agency, right?
Yeah.
Now, the reason why we're talking about Diddy too is because obviously he's a part of a parallel system, clearly, right? So and he just got off. And what I'm trying to show is that the courts will always get people off that are a high enough profile and that tend to be doing things that have to do with children and sex trafficking. The reason why I'm saying all this and why this is all perfect right now is because I'm going to be getting into a global elite satanic pedophile ring that literally gets away with this shit every time they get brought to court. And so I'm just trying to point out that we've now seen two people in real time in the same week get off. Diddy's getting off, and then now Epstein is apparently nobody's going to have to answer for anything. Nobody else is going to get, I mean, multiple people just got off with the Epstein shit.
Yeah.
So I just want to point out how crazy this is. So Jeffrey Epstein was there 7 times because of this guy, Mark Middleton. And in 2022, Mark Middleton was found shot dead in his chest while hanging from a tree, and it was ruled suicide. Just saying. And he was called out to like a one of their little houses they have, right? Like out on the meadow, like one of their nice houses. They're like, come on out here. We're going to have a little meeting. We're going to talk.
Yeah, we brought this up.
Fucking throw the noose around him. They throw the bag on his head. They throw a noose around him. They drag him outside and shoot him in the chest and fucking throw him up on a tree. I mean, that's literally, we probably did talk about this. But what I'm trying to point out is there was some serious blackmail going on and some weird shit. We did talk about it, though, and I did say we were going to recap it because it's necessary for the future.
They fucking shot him, strung him up, and they're like, look what he did to himself.
I can't believe he just hung himself.
I can't believe he just did that.
That guy has skill. He was able to shoot himself and hang himself. Ow. Yeah, so what we're kind of getting at is that, when we talked about this last time, we were still kind of thinking that maybe people would have to answer for this. At least there was hope. I didn't necessarily think that, right? But now we're talking about this, and Diddy's gotten off, and he has apparently done nothing wrong. And then Epstein, there's nobody that's been tied to him. He had no clients. He killed himself. And by the way, has everybody noticed the articles and the way they say it is? They say it just like this. Epstein had no client list. He didn't blackmail anybody, and he definitely killed himself. They say it just like that. Like that's the headline. Yeah. And I'm like, wow. They don't say like FBI says or the evidence has shown or anything that could possibly be looked at, right? They just say it like they want you to just hear it and go, okay, the authorities have told me what to believe now, and I'm just going to take it face value. That is very crazy that they're just speaking that way.
Yeah.
Just speaking like that. Like, that's it. You going to ask a question? I dare you. We just opened Alligator Alcatraz. You want to fuck around? You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, that's the type of vibe I'm getting whenever I read that.
I was already seeing stuff when I saw the original post about, there's no Epstein files, he killed himself. All the comments were like, oh, wow, that's crazy this whole time. And I was like,
have you seen the video? It's like AI. Have you seen the AI video where it says the minute that they cut out of the camera and then it just shows Hillary walking into the That's fucking funny. Okay. Funny. But in all seriousness, another thing, they told us that the cameras were broken. They didn't tell us that there was nothing on the cameras. They said that it was broken. The cameras were broken. They were sent to the FBI to be investigated. And then now that we're being told that they were working. Not only that, if I'm to believe that this video is real, there was a cut in the video. If you go, I swear to God, I did this on accident. If you're watching the video, it's 11 hours long, right? Nobody's going to sit through 11 hours. Yeah. Well, go ahead and skip through it. And you'll notice that it shifts. The camera shifts like as if there was like a cut or something made to it, like a layer, or it's just fake, or it's whatever. But either way, why did the camera move? The camera didn't move. It like shifted. Did some weird shit.
Right. Yeah.
As if there was a cut or something. So all I'm saying is, I never even gave a shit if he killed himself. He's either alive or dead. That's what I say. He either died by suicide or murder. Who gives a shit? Or he's alive somewhere. That's it. I mean, either way, what I'm more worried about is, they wanted us to focus so hard on whether he killed himself or not, that they were letting people talk about that. But that's to evade and avoid people talking about the actual things going on, like Tom Hanks and all the other shit that people connected, allegedly.
Yeah.
Right. And so, like, I don't know, man. I just think that was the diversion tactic. And we are watching this all be put to bed as if, dude, I'm only speaking about this so passionately because I'm just like, yo, if we let them get away with this, they're gonna get away with anything they want forever. Like that's really where we're at because
Dude, they got a good
they're
track
just
record so far.
they do. They do. And with the big beautiful bill being passed and with this brazen move that they're making, I really do think like I'm really not inciting any type of violence, but I am saying that like we're at a point now where like people got to start speaking up and doing something because I'm telling you, when those camps are open, if you think the people are being put in those camps are only going to be illegal immigrants, you have lost your fucking mind. I'm just saying. There's going to be civilians put in there. 100%.
That's scary to think about.
100%. 100%. Even if it's not by Trump, it's by the next administration. You have to understand you're handing over the technology of Palantir. You're handing over all these camps. You're handing over everything he just made over to the next person who could be a radical leftist. Who knows? It doesn't matter. Either way, if it's authoritarian, it's bad. It doesn't matter if it's blue or red. You know what I'm saying? I really could give a shit if it's painted. If you could paint shit gold, it's not going to smell good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, all right. That's all I mean by that. But like, I don't know, man. I just worry, dude. I mean, once I see the big, beautiful bill gets passed on July 4th, on the 4th of July, they signed our independence away. I thought we had independence for at least that 4th of July, but it turns out I was wrong. It's crazy.
That's
It's sad.
wild, man.
Yeah, yeah. I know it is. So, yeah, man. They came out with those binders and they were like, we got it. We got the files. And then nothing happens. No, it was just a joke. Like they're literally just like
They were like shaking a big ass binder and had papers flying out to make it look like
empty.
a bunch. And it was like, oh, we actually don't got shit.
And it's actually nothing important, And yeah, I mean, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of victims, allegedly, right? Bondi said that. Hundreds of thousands of victims. Okay, but there's nobody that did it. There's no like accusers. That's weird. But yeah, I don't know, man. We got let me see. We're probably gonna skip on past that. But yeah, there's there's $3.3 billion we give over to Israel per year to defend themselves. And we had to go over there and defend them with Iran.
Yeah. Come here, dog.
What are we giving them money for then?
Right.
I don't know. Just saying. I say that to say maybe we'll go off on a little bit of a side tangent. I heard somewhere. I don't know how true it is. This is alleged. I've not heard anybody else say this, except for somebody I know who knows somebody else. So whatever. And I don't know anybody important. So I'm just saying, whatever. But it makes sense. We might have went into Iran and bombed them because of their dominance with Bitcoin and Bitcoin mining. And then we hit it and made it seem like it was about nukes because they've had up to 4 to 7% of all Bitcoin like control, right? So that's a pretty good amount, right? But when you mix that, now this is the part that matters. So Iran is a big gas and oil producer, right? Well, the all oil that gets sold, I don't know if you know this, it has to be converted into US dollars. So there's like a US dollar kind of, we're making money off of most transactions, right?
Right.
So as soon as, let's say that they led the way on Bitcoin and or they got Bitcoin to be the petrodollar, right? And then they also held the most shares of Bitcoin. Well, then that would greatly fuck us and our leadership in the dollar value. You know what I mean? Like, so there is something there to that, I think, that holds weight.
Yeah.
So I figured I'd point that out. It's really deep geopolitical, financial, economic things, but there's probably something there.
Yeah.
It makes more sense than randomly after 50 years of saying they're going to have a nuke going over there because they might have a nuke still. It's like, this is crazy. I don't know. It makes more sense than that to me.
Kind of wild that would have activated that many gunships or whatever the fuck airships,
Because
for Bitcoin.
dude, because we're like, we're not fucking around, dude.
Yeah,
We're trying to we're leading the new world in the currency and economy. And who knows? Maybe. So yeah, the mega group, Epstein, and then Diddy, who, I mean, the guy had all these, testimonials, people sitting down and saying, what he did and everything. I just think it's so crazy that that he just gets off. Like, I mean, whatever. So, but anyway, so the concept that I'm just trying to I guess get out throughout this episode is that they represent a hidden kind of aspect. That, along with the fact that it's kind of a historical thing that's been going on for a while. So it's just been hidden. And if you think about it that way, like, this has been hidden, you would like, why would you like, of course it's a weird thing to find out or look at because people are so used to not looking at it that like, and it's just kind of its own thing. It's like a behemoth. It's like its own cemented part of the way society works to where nobody thinks to look at it. That's kind of what I'm getting at, where it's like, once you start looking at it though, you don't miss it. No way. But it's possibly tied to Talmudic Judaism mixed with Kabbalic mysticism. And yeah, and that's why I keep kind of hammering on the Israel ties. I mean, pretty soon I won't be able to say this, you know what I mean? Whenever they open up these camps, I'm pretty sure I'll have to just shut all this down and delete it all.
Well, they're already on the list, bro.
I know, bro. It's cool.
They're gonna come and get you.
But what I'm pointing out is that this satanic pedophile ring definitely has deep ties that go back a long time and are majorly involved with big players today. Okay. That's kind of what the whole vibe of this episode was meant to be, to kind of lead us into what we're going to be talking about, which is a whole lot of fuckery.
Yeah.
The GESPR series. It's going to be good. GESPR. I'm not going to type it all out. I want to be a little smart about it. I feel like I'll get no traction on any episodes if I start typing that out. So GESPR.
Do that.
I was going to say there shouldn't be anything really that has anything to do with it.
Hell no.
All right. So that's going to be our abbreviation. We own that shit, dude.
But look at this.
What GESPR can refer to a software package or estimating gene-specific phenotypes for look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Full circle, because we know and talk about what they want. You know what I'm saying? Like, we always end up on some weird shit. Like, what the fuck? Buckle or clasp? So we're going to get into the buckle or clasp. You know what I'm saying?
The buckle or clasp, dude.
No, really. All right. For people that maybe lost attention for a minute, we're not going to get into anything he's got on your screen right now. It's just the series we're about to do is GESPR.
Yeah. Global
Elite Satanic P ring. Okay. Not a pussy ring. So anyways, all right, I'm done being funny. So yeah, what? Okay, so we covered everything I planned on with that. Wasn't I going to go into something? I swear to God, we we're going to talk to something else. We were going to lead into something else, guys. What was it? Somebody want to tell me out there? I can't hear you. All right, yeah, maybe that. Oh, okay. Just to back up what I was saying a little bit. So there's a quote that's out there, and it really hits hard on what I'm talking about. So people like Hitler and people like, Winston Churchill and people like, and you say, whoa, wait a minute. Those guys were enemies. It's like, yeah, but they also had the same quote almost, right? And then what was that quote that they happened to say? Well, let's start with Winston Churchill's. Winston Churchill's is pretty good. I like his because I agree. From the days of Spartacus. Oh, wait, hold on a second. Zionism versus Bolshevism, Okay, he wrote this in Zionism versus Bolshevism, a great struggle for the soul of the Jewish people. Now, this touches on everything we've talked about with Bolshevism in Weimar Germany. So you should be pretty read up on what I'm about to talk about. From the days of Spartacus, Weishaupt to those of Karl Marx and down to Trotsky. This worldwide conspiracy for the overthrow of civilization and for the reconstruction of society on the basis of the arrested development of envious malevolence and impossible equality has been steadily growing. He also says, sorry, it's a long one, but what is he saying there? He's saying that there is a worldwide conspiracy that's been around since the days of Spartacus, Weishaupt, which would be Alexander Weishaupt, the guy who started the Illuminati. It's a weird name drop. It's a weird name drop he put there.
Mm-hmm.
Karl Marx, and now down to Trotsky, his time now. There's a worldwide conspiracy to overthrow civilization and reconstitute society on the basis of arrested development. AKA, think about a reality show that you watch. Arrested Development.
Yep.
Okay. And then envious malevolence, right? Which just envy. Yeah, that's exactly what we see today. Impossible equality, which is 100%. We see that as well. So it played a definitely recognizable part in the tragedy of the French Revolution. It has been the mainspring of every subversive movement through and during the 19th century. Now at last, this band of extraordinary personalities from the underworld of the great cities of Europe and America have gripped the Russian people by the hair of the heads and have become practically and the undisputed masters of that enormous empire. Pretty much what he's saying is that there's great cities of Europe and America that have gripped the Russian people by their hair and their heads during the Bolshevik communist times.
Mm.
And essentially what he's saying is that is the enemy, right? Now, he separates national Jews who assimilate and contribute to society from what he calls international Jews, whom he blames for radical movements. Now, I am kind of trying to point that out as well. Like, there's a difference. Okay. International Jews would be Zionists. Okay. So Hitler also said that if this Marxist creed succeeds, it will be the funeral wreath of the world will be its crown. Hitler was a very artistic writer. He's like, if these guys win, then the fucking funeral wreath of the world's death will be its crown. I mean, that's a civilization.
Dramatic.
I mean, very, but also I think he really meant it. Because he also said, he said, I'm fighting with myself. I don't want to believe it, but everywhere I look, it's undeniable. Like, whatever, you know, I mean, the guy obviously was nuts, but also I think there's something there that we may be being lied to about. That's all I'm saying. I'm trying to be objective. Because General Patton, who was an American World War II general, he had a quote where he said, "We defeated the wrong enemy. We should have went into Russia. If we have to fight them, now is the time. From now on, we will get weaker and they will get stronger."
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, dude, I think that they've taken over. And now, like I said earlier about things being done for a while, where it's like the norm, it's so normal and concrete that you just don't see it.
Yeah.
I think we live in that with this as a part of our society where it's now being unmasked. People are realizing they're being duped, but they're not trying to tell you too much and they're not trying to hammer it down objectively the way we do. Why? Because they just want you to feel duped so that you'll feel apathy and then go for the next radical leader. That's what they want. So I'm trying to point out that the next radical leader is not the answer, just like Trump wasn't. The answer is already written. We just need to break shit down. I'm kind of a person who feels like, you know, the more layers we remove from the government and regulation, the more free we'll be. You know,
Yeah.
we were more free when we started this than we are now. That's kind of what I'm saying. So I don't know. I'll just leave you with that. You know, I think that this conspiracy, this global conspiracy that many world leaders have talked about is what we talk about. And I'm not pointing out any particular person. I'm just pointing out that there's a theme that everybody's noticed. And I do think that they're trying to push us towards a cycle of history where they tell you everything about how the Jews run everything, but then they don't tell you that actually it's these this dark cabal inside of Zionism that hides behind that and runs the world with Freemasons and all these other groups. It's not just them. It's Catholics. It's, it's this power structure. Anyway, I don't want people to get tunnel vision and be like, just get all the Jews out of here, because that's not the answer, is what I'm trying to say. The answer is more, get these fucking corporate bankers out of here, nationalize the Fed, delete the debt, break down a lot of this regulation bullshit, get back to our Bill of Rights and amendments, our constitutional amendments, and let's go back. Let's work from there. I don't know. It's just a thought. Maybe I'm crazy. But yeah, so that's kind of been our episode. We're definitely it's another chill pod. We did 2 real pods in an episode or in a row, so we did 2 chill pods in a row. We kind of went hard last week. We gave you a fat week last week.
Yeah, man.
How long we going today, huh? How long do we go? Over an hour?
Yeah, it's just over an hour.
Yeah, shit, we're right on time. Yeah. So next we're gonna get into what we keep talking about. I'm thinking you guys can drop which one you want to hear about first. We can get into the Michael Aquino, more recent kind of. Since we've already talked about Michael Aquino, we can at least touch on his. We have talked about it a little bit with Cosmic Peach, but we could at least kind of do a deep dive on the daycares that were tied to his situation, along with the other daycares around America. And then, yeah, we could talk about, the Jutro case. We got North Fox Island, Order of Nine Angles. So you got, Finders Cult. Fuck, we got a lot. So you guys throw in there whatever you want to hear first. It's going to be in that realm. So just keep it in that realm. And if you know anything that I'm not mentioning, definitely please hit us with that. We got an email that we'll put down in the description, along with our handles for our social medias. And, if you want to donate a little bit, we'd love it. We want a few podcasts don't ask you for anything. We will maybe start a Patreon one day just for you to have some extra shit if you want it. But yeah, we ain't asking. If you feel obliged, we love it. Thank you. Appreciate you. But yeah, we're gonna hammer it hard. Hope you guys enjoyed all that. That was a kind of a wild ride. Started with the king killing and unleashing of Satan and
very informative.
Was it? Because most of that shit was off the top, dude. My notes were so sporadic. I just had to go off the brain. You know what I mean?
Hey, I could tell you were going off the schizo notes, but yeah, man, I learned a lot, and I'm pretty sure. I mean, shit, if others don't know anything about this, they're gonna learn a little bit too.
Yeah, everybody, if you guys want to get a better idea on what kind of shit I was dealing with, go look up James Shelby Downard. Go look up one of his essays he's written, and you'll understand what I was working with. I mean, the guy writes so dense. And then he writes and it would be out of order. It's just all over the place. I mean, he started off, I'm pretty sure the first page was supposed to be 8 pages in.
Yeah.
So it's what the hell? Why are we starting here? But he did say something that was kind of important. He said that pharmakos, the Greek word pharmakos comes from the root word means scapegoat. Look up pharmakos with a K, K-O-S. And then scapegoat, human scapegoat. Okay. Now, he connected this with the JFK ritual. Pharmakos referred to a human scapegoat who is ritually sacrificed or exiled to purify a city. Now, it's weird that we go pharmaceutical, obviously. That's kind of weird, right?
Yeah.
Just saying. That's a little weird, And then that makes me wonder, like in the Bible where it says that through pharmakos is how they work. When it talks about the devil and the evil works they do, does that mean that they sacrifice people? And that's what they mean by pharmakos, through sacrifice of people and through, ritual murder,
Yeah.
I do wonder about that. That might've been what they were saying.
Yeah, it really could have been. That's weird.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, one more thing. Then we're out of here. I don't know if I said this on the pod, but I definitely said it. I'm going to point it out. So when I was talking about the 12-day war that Trump took us into, and I was like, oh yeah, dude, what's the one thing, Obama said to him in 2016 or whatever it was, 2015, he was like, one thing I am, you'll never be is president. Right. It was a big thing. Like everybody talked about it. It was a well-known thing that was said, right?
Yeah.
Well, Trump's been president for 2 terms, just like Obama, right? And I was like, dude, he wants that Nobel Peace Prize. That's the other thing that Obama has. He doesn't, right? And his ego's so big.
Yeah.
He'll take us to war just to end it, just to get that peace prize, right? Well, Netanyahu, for the third time this year, Netanyahu's came to America to visit. This time he didn't bring his dirty laundry, thankfully. No. Fuck all that. Type Netanyahu dirty laundry. Fuck all that. I'll tell them about what's going on with Netanyahu. I want them to see this. This is crazy. So anyway, Netanyahu, he comes here and he nominates Trump for a Nobel Peace Prize, right? And okay, Israel Netanyahu brings his dirty laundry to Washington. God damn it. Go to the other one. This motherfucker brings his dirty laundry to Washington so they clean it. Dude, Israeli PM accused of taking dirty laundry on state trips. He takes dirty laundry here for free dry cleaning. Benjamin Netanyahu and Sarah Netanyahu have developed a relationship for lugging bags and suitcases of dirty clothes on foreign trips to be laundered at another country's expense.
Bro, he really is.
Dude, Netanyahu are the only ones who bring actual suitcases of dirty laundry for us to clean, the paper quoted an unnamed U.S. official as saying, after multiple trips, it became clear this was intentional. Dude, I want you guys to understand, I'm not just bashing on these people. They bring their dirty laundry here, so we will wash it for them. I mean, that's the ultimate sign of you are here and I am here. You know what I'm saying? On this visit, for example, there was no dry cleaning. Oh, yeah. He packed 4 or 5 suitcases worth of laundry for state trips. Dude, he waits. That's why he's came 3 times this year, because he's went through so much laundry. He's like, fuck, I got to go again. I got to go get my shit washed. Dude. All right. So if that doesn't lay out everything, like I'm over here quoting a hero. I'm quoting a villain. I'm quoting another hero. I'm showing you an article that proves that they don't give a, dude, what else can I say? Israel. I don't try to be political. And when I talk about Israel, I don't know if anybody's noticed on this podcast, I'm not political. I'm trying to point out that these motherfuckers, and by these motherfuckers, I mean the people running it, are the fucking devil, you know? And I'm not bashing on Jews or Israel. It's 100% the people that created Israel and run Israel and all this other shit. And this is proof. Here's your proof. Crazy. You know, and that mixed with, Tel Aviv, they're the ones making all the AI and sending it over here. And it's not Silicon Valley that's making most of it. It's them. So they're literally creating the beast system. They're the ones doing it. So I don't know. You put all that together. You tell me what I'm supposed to do with that information. Please tell me what I'm supposed to do with that information.
Yeah.
That's all. I'm not trying to be crazy. Just trying to be a normal guy. Talk about normal things. I prefer to talk about fucking aliens or something. Just kidding. Not really.
Oh,
but yeah.
God.
It's a crazy world, man. It's a crazy world.
Crazy world. They come here for
what else?
laundry.
I think we covered it all. I think you guys got a good understanding of the context of where we're at, and we're going to lay it down. Next episode's G.E.S.P.R coming up. Y'all be safe out there.